The most stressful place in the world isn't a job interview. It isn't even a first date. It's the 4 minutes after you send a text, and the gray bubble just stays there. No typing, no reply, just a digital void. You send it, you wait, you rot. But here's the interesting part. You're probably holding your phone right now, or maybe it's face up on the table, and you're checking it every 10 seconds while pretending to watch this. You're rereading your own words, searching for a mistake that doesn't exist. Did I sound weird? Was I too much? Should I have used a different emoji? Here is the truth. You aren't actually waiting for a reply. You're waiting for a verdict. You're waiting for another person to give you permission to feel okay about yourself for the rest of the day. But your brain is actually doing something surprising. Then there's that person. They send the message, they put the phone face down, and they actually go live their life. They don't analyze the tone of a period at the end of a sentence. They don't replay the last 5 seconds of a conversation like a movie they're trying to edit. To you, they might seem cold, maybe even unbothered to a fault. But psychologically, they've just realized something brutal. Other people's opinions of you are almost never actually about you. Think about the last time you had an emotional collapse over a social interaction. Maybe you stayed up until 2 a.m., replaying a 5-second moment at the grocery store. You're convinced the cashier thinks you're an idiot because you fumbled your change. I've been there. I've spent hours apologizing for things people didn't even notice, and this is where things get complicated. Psychologists call this egocentric bias. It's the narrative brain tricking you into thinking you're the star of everyone else's movie. You think you're being watched, judged, and rated. Therefore, you act like a performer on a stage that isn't even there. But here's the reality check. Susan from accounting isn't judging your shoes. Susan is currently in her car, having a crisis about a text she sent 3 hours ago. We are all main characters in our own heads, but we are just background ghosts in everyone else's. Modern life is a dumpster fire of performance. We've turned being liked into a survival metric. But something strange happens next. Your brain evolved to read signals from a tribe of 20 people. Now you're trying to process signals from 200 every single day. Read receipts, group chat silences, constant feedback. Your nervous system is exhausted because it wasn't built for this much social noise. When you depend on approval, you're letting strangers run the thermostat of your internal world. If they praise you, the temperature goes up. If they ignore you, you're freezing. It's an exhausting way to exist. From a survival perspective, this used to make sense. Thousands of years ago, being rejected by the tribe meant you'd probably get eaten by something. So your mind evolved to monitor social signals like a hawk. But modern life has hijacked that instinct. Now the tribe is a digital ghost. And your brain treats a silence like a tiger in the bushes. People who don't need approval aren't heartless. They've just built a filter. One possible explanation is that they have a stable internal reference point. They still notice the signals. They still read the room. But they treat those signals as information, not as commands. There is a huge difference between wanting to connect and needing to be approved. Connection is human. Approval is a cage. When you stop needing the nod, you stop being a performer and start being a person. You let the tension exist. You let the conversation be awkward. And you stop apologizing for taking up space. So the next time you feel that familiar stomach drop, the next time your pulse spikes because a typing bubble disappeared, pause. Recognize what your brain is doing. It's trying to protect you from a tiger that doesn't exist. Move the dial of your thermostat back inside. Other people can influence the weather, but they don't control your heating system. You are allowed to exist without an audience. Not every thought your brain produces deserves a seat at the table. And not every person's opinion deserves a key to your internal world. If you're tired of the generic fluff and you want to actually understand why your brain does the weird stuff it does, subscribe. This is Ego Exposed. We don't do gentle here. We do the truth.